Welcome to the very first Sci-Clops.com podcast. Greetings, Cyclopeans. My name is Dan, and I'm here with Tom.
How's it going, everybody?
And we're going to be talking about a lot of cool sci-fi, fantasy, horror stuff. Monsters, spaceships, and dragons.
Oh my.
And the site will be covering, if you follow Cyclops right now, you know that we cover everything from movies to games to comics to websites, everything imaginable. So we're going to be covering a whole bunch of different kinds of topics here. And we'll be talking about some movies, comics, books, websites, music, games, board games, video games, things like that. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. One quick note, the channel here is going to be called, right now it's called Dritz Durden, if I'm saying that right. I think that's French or Dark Elf from the R.A. Salvatore books. I loved that name, and I originally named the YouTube channel here after Dritz. And of course, now I'm going to have to rename it Sci-Clops. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that, or the only way we're going to be able to do that, is to get a lot of followers. So please pass the word and let everybody know if you like this podcast, and then let us know too. Feel free to send us info through the website Sci-Clops.com. That's SCI-Clops.com. Okay, here we go. And what we're going to do is start with some movies this week. What did we see?
I haven't gone out to the theater since Suicide Squad, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but we can talk about the Star Wars Rogue One reshoots that have been happening, especially, with the news that the composer just got ousted after all those reshoots happened. And I'm curious, because Disney hasn't really said what the reshoots are for. They've just said, oh, we're doing reshoots, and that's about all we've gotten out of them. They haven't said, oh, it's because we realized X and such. It's just reshoots.
A little disturbing. You're kind of worried because Disney has a good track record, and especially with the Marvel stuff and everything else, and
Force Awakens was I enjoy the crap out of that
fabulous
movie.
But you are worried when you hear, hey, we're going to do reshoots, and then you hear that the composers changed, and of course it's just like politics. It's the schedule didn't work. Well, no, I'm going to spend more time with the family.
Yeah, well, considering that the movie is 3 months from being out, how is he scheduling conflict? This late in the game really appearing,
or at least that's the way it appears, that it's coming in this late at the game. So you're right, and it's a little nerve-wracking for Star Wars fans like us.
Yeah, and when I saw that first trailer for Rogue One, I thought this was going to be a great, side kind of project for Star Wars. The tone looked really good. It looked like more of a darker, grittier war movie, basically, between the Rebel Alliance and
the Empire. Which is what it is.
Yeah. That's even what the director said. He goes to the people criticizing it about, not having the levity of some of the other Star Wars films. He goes, this is a war movie. It's, the Empire and the Rebel Alliance.
You can probably figure that if this is in between, 3 and 4. 3 and 4, I apologize. 3 and 4. You're probably not going to see too many of these people later.
No.
They're probably all going to die.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be pretty dark no matter how many funny jokes you throw into this thing or how much you rewrite it for the fans.
Yeah, and the same thing happened to Suicide Squad, where they were close to being done with production. The movie was months from being out, and then you heard about reshoots. And Warner Bros. At the time said it was because the film was a little too dark and they needed to add more humor to it. And having sat through the movie, there wasn't all that much humor added to it. It was pretty dark. It's about a team of criminals who go into a suicide mission. But I always hate it when the studio feels like it has to interject itself into a movie production and, make sure that it's going to hit all the right demographics and everything's... and it's just, all it does is frustrate the actors, frustrate the fans, and in the end you get a misshapen thing that's not really what the director wanted when he went into it.
And you can almost understand where they're going to say, hey, we're putting up 150, 200, 300 million for this thing, so we want some...
Well, I certainly think they should have some say, but I don't think they should have the right to just go in and willy-nilly axe this and that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you start cutting everything and you wind up with another, Blair Witch 2, that mess that they got into a while back, after, not the one that's out now, but that disaster.
I got 20 minutes into that and had to
poor
stop.
guy, to this day, I think he was just on the news talking about that, saying that he was just crushed. And what was the other one we were talking about?
Thor 2.
Thor 2.
The guy, his name escapes me at the moment, but the director of Thor 2 had said when he finished the movie, he had a completely different movie than Thor the Dark World. And then the studio and the editor came in and just completely changed what he had. And he said it colored his opinion on the Marvel Studios and said he probably wouldn't ever do another superhero Marvel movie. And Joss Whedon said the same thing about the Avengers. He said the studio and all that was so draining that he's done for a while on the whole superhero genre.
Well, we'll see how this thing goes, because clearly Suicide Squad, whatever they did, it worked, and it's despite all the ferocious criticism, which we covered a lot on Sci-Clops, it's still going. It's one of the 5 movies of the summer, if I'm saying this right, domestically to break 300 million.
Yeah,
that's
barely.
a big deal, because a lot of stuff went down the toilet, which is real surprises.
I can't believe Star Trek tanked.
Star Trek did not.
Star Trek, not even domestically, but Star Trek
domestically.
totally tanked. I think it was just over 300 million total.
Which is a darn shame that you're saying that tanked with that kind of money.
I love Star Trek.
Tank?
Yeah,
but that's the way that's not us. That's them. That's their numbers. They're like, well, if it didn't make 100 billion, it tanked. But this.
Well,
is
here's
not
the thing,
stop.
though. Its budget, I think, was somewhere like 200 million.
Oh, 200 million. Okay.
So if it made only like 300 some odd million, couple that with the advertising cost and all the other distribution fees I'm sure they had to pay, they probably maybe even lost money on Star Trek, which is astounding to say.
But we'll see, how that, if it'll definitely color the Star Treks of the future. But Star Trek has been out and had ups and downs over the last 30 years. They had the first one there was almost
a franchise killer.
A franchise killer.
But still, I don't think that movie did awful at the box office. I imagine it did fairly decent.
I don't think it did, because there wasn't the kind of word of mouth there is now. And it was the first Star Trek movie to come out, and people were pumped for it, and it was also hitting at the right... Well, tough to tell, but I think it was hitting at the right time. At any rate, we move on from movies a little bit, and we look at some of the stuff that really is working, besides Suicide Squad, really well right now. It's hot as Stranger Things. If any of you have watched this on Netflix...
Still late on.
It's okay, and you'll get there. And if you haven't seen this yet, you really got to see. I think it's 8 or 9 episodes long, and you will binge watch it. Because everyone that I'm talking to at the cons is saying they're just getting hooked into this thing and they can't do anything.
I've seen a lot of people with the little dress and the doll and everything.
If you go on the site, we just went to one of the cons, and there's a great picture.
Yep, I saw that picture. Yep,
the kid dressed up as 11 and just did a fabulous job of it. And one of the hottest pictures we put out, because people love it. They think it's hysterical. So Stranger Things is really good. It's one of the hot things about Stranger Things is that the characters are excellent, the acting is excellent, the storyline is excellent, and it's all 80s rehash. It's like they took every 80s cool sci-fi, fantasy, and horror film and threw it together in one big mash, and it worked. And so it's very hot right now. We'll wait to see what season 2 does on that, and I think it's going to be... They've already released the episode titles.
Oh.
And so those are out. And the kids, of course, are making the talk show circuit rounds, and they're doing really good with that. If you've seen any of those talk show circuit YouTube videos, they're hot with the 4 kids. So we'll see what... I think that's going to be starting to hit next year, early.
It's got to be. It's a really awesome thing that Netflix now has decided to make its original content.
Yeah.
Because stuff like this, and a lot of shows I like on Netflix, would just have never gotten... either a cable broadcast or one of the syndicated shows, and it wouldn't happen. And now Netflix has this kind of, this thing that no one else has, where it's got original content, and when it comes out, all yours right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go.
Watch all of it, enjoy it, and then the turnaround is actually fairly quick on seasons 1 and 2 and everything, with probably the exception of the Marvel shows, but that's because they got so much interworking stuff. But stuff like Stranger Things and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and all these other Netflix originals, it's just Netflix can just crank them out, it boosts their subscription service, I'm sure, like crazy.
And they're cranking out good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's not just they're cranking out crap. It's most of the Netflix things, originals I've seen, have been really high quality product.
And a quick note on that, which you said, which is nice to see another studio opening up, which Netflix has this on. I think Hulu's doing their stuff. A whole bunch of these guys are doing their things now.
I don't like the Hulu stuff by and large, though.
It's a little weird. I've seen some ads for some
Hulu originals don't really do much for me.
Kind of creepy and a little dirty. I'm like, whatever. But I don't know about the sci-fi fantasy horror stuff. But the Duffer Brothers actually said, who did Stranger Things, they said they got turned down. We put it up on the site a while back. It's I can't remember how many times they got turned down before they got picked up by Netflix. So again, there's a good reason.
Same thing happened with the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Tina Fey pitched it to NBC, ABC, I think, a couple other people, and they all shot her down. And then she went to Netflix, and now it's a hit.
Yeah, Netflix is dying for somebody new, and they love it. So, bingo, another smash hit out of them. And
I think it's because Netflix is willing to try the weird stuff, the stuff that you take a look at the script and you're like, the audience isn't gonna how am I gonna attract 3 million viewers for this? And then Netflix throws it out there and it hits like 15 million views on
for a 1980s style flick that revolves around the Dungeons and Dragons game, which of course, if anybody had noticed, it's hot again. D&D, board games, and Lovecraft are all hot, and Stranger Things is pretty much a montage of those.
It's just all folded into one thing.
Folded into one, with the 80s thrown in for a whole new generation of people waiting for movies about their generation. So instead of the 60s for a change. So we'll see how that goes in a few more months. Over to comics too. What are you reading?
Okay, this week I'm gonna try to at least do one Marvel, one DC, and then one by quote unquote one of the smaller publishers.
Ambitious.
Yeah. The first one I got out is All-Star Batman by Scott Snyder with art by John Romita Jr. And the New 52 for longtime comic fans was kind of weird and a disappointment. They changed a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things that was even among the New 52's criticisms that stood out was how high quality Scott Snyder's Batman was. And I loved it. Fantastic run on Batman. And when he announced he was done after the New 52 wrapped up, I, like a lot of other fans, was really disappointed because I thought his take on Batman was fantastic. And then a couple months later, he comes announced that he's actually not done with Batman in the sense of he's going to be doing this All-Star Batman, which is every 6 issues, he rotates out a new storyline with a new artist, and then like these little mini sidequel stuff with Batman. And the first one he's doing is with John Romita doing art, and it's about a villain that we didn't really see too much of in the New 52. It's Two-Face. And Two-Face may sound like an odd choice for some, because, he's like, kids from my generation are going to remember him from that wacky Tommy Lee Jones portrayal in Batman and Robin, where he had the ridiculous over-the-top suits, and he had these, the theatrical crimes, and, it's like, how is this guy a credible threat? And they actually explain that away in the issue about really why Two-Face actually is such a dangerous threat, and Batman needs to get rid of him. And they really play up the dichotomy of Harvey Dent and Two-Face, and they're kind of stuck together. And Harvey Dent wants nothing more than to be this good lawyer who helps Batman rid the city of criminals, and Two-Face is this megalomaniac who wants to have his fingers in everything and control everybody. And it's really been an interesting thing so far in an exploration of what Batman is willing to do to help someone who's helped him in the past, with Harvey Dent, who was before this was just a upstanding lawyer. Mm-hmm. And I really like what they've been doing so far. We're 2 issues in, so we got 4 to go. But it's been a nice little trip, and it's great to see Scott Snyder back on Batman.
What else have you got in there?
And after that, on the Marvel side of things, I have Daredevil by Charles Soule. And the previous run of Daredevil was very interesting because it took Daredevil away from Hell's Kitchen in New York, shot him all the way to, I think it was LA or San Francisco, and his secret identity had become public knowledge. So he had stopped wearing the Daredevil costume. He just had like a red suit, basically, and he was just going around doing Daredevil-y stuff as Matt Murdock. And
a new word there, Daredevil-y.
Yeah. As predictable, having your secret identity become public knowledge doesn't end very well. And after Secret Wars happened, Daredevil's back in New York, but now instead of being a DA, he's now prosecutor. And his identity is somehow unknown to everybody except his best friend, Foggy Nelson. And I was really hoping they weren't just going to say, okay, Secret Wars happened, everybody forgot, yay. But apparently it's Matt did something. They're hinting that he did a very dark deal to get people to forget that he was Daredevil. And only Foggy remembers.
It's going to be cool to see who we bring
That's what I mean. And now they hinted at it in the previous storyline that he knows who's manipulating him, and he's really doing everything he can to keep it under wraps, what he did. But they kind of shied away from that. In this new one, they introduced a completely, to my knowledge, brand new villain. It's not someone coming back from his past. It's a serial killer who paints murals in the blood of his victims.
No.
It's really gross, but it's awesome. And he's trying to figure out who it is and obviously stop this guy before he keeps killing. And I really like, in addition to just the portrayal of Matt as this really conflicted, I did what I had to do to keep everyone around me safe and get my identity back in the box, they also changed up the art style a lot. In the previous run of Daredevil, everything was this bright, like, eye-popping-y kind of thing, because, he's living out in public. He's Matt Murdock / Daredevil. Everybody knows that. And he is really trying to create a new chapter of his life and be this positive, happy guy. And it didn't work for him. It came crashing down around his head. And this art style it's very muted and dark, and it's almost like you're seeing everything the way he sees it with his radar vision, where it's very dark and muted, and you see every now and again splashes of red and things like that. So the art style is even really condensed into this darker thing, like Matt. So we're gonna have to see where they go with this serial killer painter. They haven't given him a name yet, but I'm really interested. And the last one I got is by Image. And it's, fittingly enough, by Ed Brubaker, who had a run on Daredevil for a few years back in the early 2000s. It's called Kill or Be Killed by Image. And it's part of Brubaker's contract to, I think, do 4 or 5 creator-owned series. And this, I think, is the second one. And as with most Image comics, it's a pretty weird setup. The main character is this depressed grad student who's been kind of a screw-up. He's almost 30 and he's still in grad school. And he's looking at his life and he realizes he's just done nothing but disappoint people. And he goes up to the roof of his building to jump off. And right as he jumps off, he realizes this is the dumbest thing he's ever done. He doesn't want to die. Too late, though. He's already mid-jump. He hits the ground and he's fine. He's got a broken arm, but that's it. And he can't believe it. He thinks he just had the miracle of all miracles. He's going to turn his life around, and that's going to be it. Not quite as simple as that. He goes to bed, and as he's laying there, he hears something in the dark.
Careful, don't give away too much.
Yeah. And without giving away everything, something pops out and realizes, you didn't get a free pass. Yeah. And it just sets his life up in this ridiculous circumstance, and it's very dark stuff. But that's what Ed Brubaker did. He was on Daredevil for a while back in the early 2000s, and it's just Image is great for scratching that weird thing that DC and Marvel just won't do because they're very consumer friendly, kid friendly. They want to appeal to as many people as possible. And Image is the niche stuff where it's really weird and out there and a little dark, but it's fantastically done
for real heads.
It's real stuff, and I would recommend checking out Image specifically, but definitely Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker.
I love that 1950s.
Yeah, the art style is very, very pulpy.
Pulpy.
Yeah,
it's like very
it's
dark,
very nice. I believe it's Sean Phillips and Elizabeth Brettweiser who do the art, and it's fantastic.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. And we'll put show notes. You'll have, if you look below this podcast, you'll see all these things listed down there. So if there's anything you want to refer to or purchase, we'll have it right down there for you. I'm reading Conan the Slayer right now. I just got issues 1 and 2. Cullen Bunn, Sergio Davila. I'm saying that right. Michael Adia.
Comic artists love those weird names.
I did not mean to insult anybody there, but hopefully I got those names right. But good. I love Conan. I've always followed Conan for years. I've been a big Conan fan, and this one doesn't disappoint. He's typical Conan. A lot of blood, a lot of swords. We're just starting to get into issue 2. I don't want to say too much, but there's going to be some. Issue 1 is starting, and issue 2 we're already heading into things not of this earth. So that's pretty cool because you always want Conan. Typical girls, blood, swords, gold,
giant snakes,
and something nasty from beyond. So it's typical Conan, and I like it a lot. And let me see, we have tunes we're going to cover here too, really quick. I just want to let you know I'm listening to a band I just discovered we were exchanging pictures back and forth of Slayer, fellow Slayer fans. They're called Wolfheart, and they're out of gosh, I should have checked that. I think Northern Europe, Finland, or one of these places. Wolfheart, very heavy combination of Sepultura and Fear Factory for you metalheads out there. If you're interested in looking at that, pretty good stuff. Very melodic, heavy metal. And moving over to games quick. Tom, what are you playing?
I just got Star Trek Catan, which, if anyone's played Settlers of Catan, Star Trek Catan is essentially the same game but with a Star Trek skin on it. The robber who you can place to steal, black resources is now, instead of just like a guy, it's a Klingon warbird ship. It's awesome. All the pieces are the Enterprise, and you build little spaceports and then star stations for cities. They did add a new wrinkle to Catan in the addition of support cards, which give you various bonus effects. They don't really explain how to use them very much in the instruction manual, so me and my friends pretty much just disregard them. But if you played Settlers of Catan, you know what you're in for. It's a great board game, and the Star Trek skin is fantastic, and it's a lot of fun. And all the resources now are like dilithium and tritanium and all these ridiculous Star Trek-y things. And it's a lot of fun. It's a board game that the board constantly changes. It's never the same game twice, and it's definitely something I would go out of your way to check out if you have the chance.
Catan is hot, and all the board. This is a hot time for board games.
I've seen more people playing board games in the past 2 years than I have in 15.
Yeah, what are you seeing? Like now, a lot of people opening up cafes, board game cafes.
Yeah,
like
I've seen actually. There's one downtown.
Beer and board games.
Yep.
Is there one downtown in Syracuse? Okay.
I've seen a lot of those. We just got another one. My friend bought Fire Team Zero, which is like set in the 1940s. You're an American squad of commandos going to stop basically, the Nazi occult experiments. It is really hard. It's like it's very punishing, but it's a lot of fun. And that's another one we're playing. And on the video game side of things, I just started playing the remake of Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank?
From the original was 2002, and when they announced the remake, everyone thought we were just getting an HD port, and we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. But no, Insomniac actually remade the entire game with new plot threads and stuff they just couldn't, the technology wasn't there for in 2002. And I haven't beaten it yet.
Do you like it?
But, I love it. It's fantastic. The ridiculous weapons, the Groovatron, which shoots
Groovatron.
disco balls that make the enemies dance, the Pixelator, which turns you into giant 8-bit like statues.
Groovatron.
They love the ridiculous weapons over there, and I can't wait. I would hope that they keep going in the remake genre and keep going, because, stuff like the Quackinator.
I'm still back on the Groovatron.
The Groovatron is fantastic.
I pictured afros, roller skates, tube socks, and boomboxes.
Basically, it shoots a disco ball. The disco ball flies into the air, and any enemy caught in the radius starts dancing and grooving, and random disco music starts playing.
In the background.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm playing Crows. It's just like the bird, Crows. Not too hard of a game. It's little pieces and crows, and it's basically just trying to get the crows across little shiny objects. It's based on. It's a lot of. It's written around a lot of the. I'm not saying Lovecraft. Edgar Allan Poe kind of thing style. Nice looking little game. If you're looking for a simpler game, Crows is it. Really nice pieces. We'll be putting some pictures up on the site on that very soon. If not with this podcast, you'll see it on Sci-Clops, because we're going to be reviewing that game actually very shortly. So for the games, we'll have some games every week, but right now I didn't want to go too many games. Although I could talk about them for hours. I'm sure you could too, because games are so hot right now. What kind of major news are we looking at this week? Anything?
I don't know, but one thing I've been following is the Legends of Tomorrow, which is entering its second season. I thought the first season was good, had a rocky first half, but then by the end, it really pulled together. And it looks like they're going to be doing the Legion of Doom, which is something that I didn't think we'd ever see in live action. And it looks like, minor spoiler alert here in case, you haven't heard anything yet. Looks like the Legion of Doom...
3, 2. You got 3 seconds here to turn this off like a spoiler. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, it looks like the Legion, at least in the beginning, is going to be Reverse Flash, Damien Dark from Arrow, Malcolm Merlyn from Arrow and Captain Cold from Flash.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a surprise because Captain Cold was one of the heroes in the first season. And if you've seen the first season, you know he dies in the penultimate episode. And, you know, he did this big self-sacrificing thing to let everyone else escape. And I'm really curious as how they're going to work him in as a villain. You know, it's really not room for doubt if he's one of the bad guys. He's part of something called the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to work that in, especially because his former partner, Heatwave, is still one of the good guys.
Do you mean the show Flash?
Yes.
The show with Barry?
Yep.
Okay.
He was originally on there, but then he went to Legends of Tomorrow.
Because I was thinking he was more like he came out and he seemed like he was going to be bad, and then he was kind of good.
Yeah, he's always walked that fence.
He'll do a deal with you.
Yeah, but now he's Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
And I'm excited. The only one that's a surprise is Damien Dark. I mean, I get how they're going to do it. It's a time travel show, and he's been alive for a long time, so. But I think it's an interesting premise for season 2, and I love, if anybody's seen the original Zorro movie with Antonio Banderas, the Reverse Flash, Matt Lech, I think is his name, was one of the villains in Zorro. Because it bugged me. I'd be like, I know this guy. Yeah. I know I've seen him. And he was in that, and it's hilarious, and I love it. So I'm excited for Legends of Tomorrow season 2. And Arrow, season 5. I'm gonna watch the premiere.
A little bit of sighing going on here.
Yeah, season 3 was okay. Mm-hmm. Not as good as it could have been, considering it had an awesome bad guy in Ra's al Ghul.
Careful, don't say too much because some of the people.
Season 3 is old.
I'm still slogging through season 2 right now.
All I'll say is I'm gonna watch the season 5 premiere, and if the season 5 premiere doesn't grab me right away, I'm done.
That's too
I'll
bad.
stick with Flash.
I'll tell you, I'm having trouble getting through season 2. I liked season 1. It's Arrow. It's what it is. It's unbelievable at times, but that's what it is. But between Arrow and Flash, I think there should be a drinking game where you take a drink every time somebody says, "Are you okay?" Or anytime they sit down to dinner, which they have never finished in any of these series, they can't eat dinner together.
Do you want people to die of alcohol poisoning?
Without having a fight, and take a drink every time someone gets up and rushes away from the table in a fit. And
you'll
be dead before the end of the show.
You'll be dead before the end
it.
of a couple episodes.
But the latest era the latest ones I've gotten into have been season 2, which I'm struggling with a little bit because it's a little hard to swallow with some of the shootouts going on. I'm like, come on, there's 80 guys firing machine guns and the cops are all getting killed and like there's nobody.
They're stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're stormtroopers, and I'm like, okay, but it's Arrow. It's what it is.
Yeah,
you just gotta kind of.
The problem is when it comes to shows that you need to suspend your disbelief for, Flash is easier because he's got superpowers. Yeah, but Arrow's just a dude.
Yeah.
He's a highly trained dude, and he's got years of experience, and he's an athlete and all that.
Let me throw something in here too.
Yeah.
Here's another major problem. At this stage of the game, the writing has gotten so good out there. I mean, this isn't like the 70s and 80s where they just threw whatever they could at the wall and see what stuck. And the writing was horrible. There were just plot holes the size you could drive a truck through. But at this stage of the game, after you've been through the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles years ago, which were fantastic. That's when the writing started getting better and better. And oh my gosh, I'm having a mind blank. What was the one that they canceled and everybody loved at the start? This Western Starfighter.
Firefly.
Firefly. Wow, the writing. Wow. And I remember commenting on those when I saw them. It's like, the writing has never been this good. It's just fantastic now. There's no plot holes in these things. And if there are, they close it right back up in the next episode. And these things are kind of like, they're kind of a little, like, getting a little lazy. So like you said, I think we're in season 5. But
yeah.
But, what's going to save these guys, too, is they're good-looking guys.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't hurt.
They're definitely teen idols. And it's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with
they're playing to their audience. They know
their audience.
The younger people are going to be watching these things.
I don't think anybody's sitting there with a checklist checking off things that are going wrong in the plot.
Oh, yeah,
I think they're just looking for a little fun.
There's a lot, surprise, the internet has unhappy people on it.
As we saw with the Ghostbusters fiasco.
Yeah, but season 3 and 4 of Arrow definitely met with a lot of harsh criticism. Some of it was justified, some of it wasn't. You have people who are never going to be happy no matter how much the show changes to what they want it to be. But Yeah, the shows know their audience. It's the younger guys and girls who are like, oh, wow, this is cool. And
Supergirl audience, too. And it's okay.
I still can't bring myself to watch Supergirl.
I'm glad to see that there's a whole generation of people coming up on superheroes. That's good to see. And it doesn't matter. Maybe they're a little different than our superheroes, or maybe we're whatever. But, enjoy it, have fun with it, and just keep moving on. But we're still going to beat them up a little bit if they
get too far out of the way.
They get a little silly. When they're running up a metal stairway with a open railing, and
4 guys shooting at you,
only hitting the railing, and you're like pew pew pew. And it's like, oh, what did you say? There was a whole bunch of in Arrow. There was a whole bunch of
highly trained special forces guys.
They're all missing.
8 of them, and this is the best part. There'll be like 3 or 4 of them, and then he'll be like over here. Well, you can't see my hands, but far away, and then he'll like rush them, and like when they get into like hand fighting distance, they'll all put down their guns and try to fight him hand to hand. I'm like,
an old karate movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
you're
telling me none of these guys just pulls out a handgun and shoots him in the face?
Yeah. The old karate movies where they'd be like one guy
Van Damme
each person
fights a crowd of guys
one at a time. Yeah, but Van Damme always wins anyway, so who could stop him?
Can I do a side thing about Van Damme,
Absolutely.
actually, now that we're thinking about it? Speaking of TV, Jean-Claude Van Damme is doing an Amazon pilot, and I hope to God this gets picked up to series, because it is the best thing I've seen in forever.
Another big company making their own stuff.
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Van Johnson?
And the premise of this is that his identity as Jean-Claude Van Damme, big movie star, is a cover that allows him to travel the world as a secret agent and do these black ops missions. And it's hilarious because if they did this like seriously, like he's really a secret agent and like for drama, it would be terrible. But it's a giant joke. It's like Amazon? They're totally in on it. Like
awesome.
Every bad Van Damme cliche you could ever think of. Like in the pilot episode, he meets a guy who looks exactly like himself, making fun of all those times like he's been 2 guys in the same movie. Yep. They do the big like 20 guys around him, but they all run each other one at a time. And they're totally in on the joke.
The other 19 wait.
Yeah, the other 19 just go. They're totally in on the joke, and watch it on Amazon. The pilot's free. And they have a little survey after where you can vote for which of the 3 series you want to see. Awesome. Vote for Van Johnson because it is the best thing on TV right now. It's hilarious.
Oh, a couple more quick pieces of news too. We'll go into is how do you say that name? There's Kaylee Spaney.
Where's that?
In the Pacific Rim 2.
Oh, yes.
Cast Pacific Rim 2. Is that? Am I saying that right?
I believe.
Kaylee, I apologize.
I think you are. Yeah.
Your name. By the way, we have a really crazy last name here, which we're not going to say right now because it's impossible to pronounce. And it looks like an Image Comics is. Well, that's the website that Mark Millar and Greg Capullo.
Yep, Greg Capullo.
They're writing the Reborn comic, and I saw some of the illustration for that. And wow, just fantastic.
Mark Millar and Greg Capullo separately are fantastic.
Wow,
together, I can't even fathom. Mark Millar has done some of my favorite work ever on Wolverine. I love fantastic stuff. Capullo, each of these guys has a hit list resume of just amazing stuff.
One of the reasons I caught that today because I was putting up I do it with sci-fi or Cy-Clops, Sci-Clops.com. We try to do every day. We do a quick news roundup on the intertubes, and the sci-fi, fantasy, horror from all over the place. And I had caught this image, and I said, what is that? And so I went over and looked, and sure enough, that was Mark Millar and Greg Capullo. But it was that good. It just caught my eye when I was scrolling through. I think I saw it on Twitter somewhere. I was like, oh, that's amazing. So we put that up as one of the notes. If you're interested, too, there's new Scooby-Doo Pop vinyl figures out.
When did those become a thing?
I don't know. I walk in a lot of nerd apartments now, and they're everywhere. All over the place. We have a mutual
whoever
family
came
member
up with that is rolling in the money.
Mutual family members who, my gosh, they're loaded with them in their apartment. I went in and like little pop vinyl figures. Like, I didn't know those were that hot, but whoever thought of that, they're big right now.
Yeah.
The Scooby-Doo's out, and we lost our
There
screen here. We're looking at some of the stuff while we're talking here. And let me see. We have one other thing. Oh, Comics Alliance. ComicsAlliance.com says there's been a Suicide Squad favorite who's been eliminated.
Yeah. I read that issue.
Not going to tell you who.
It was a very surprising one, yeah.
But in the comics, somebody got off. But, they'll be brought back.
Well, yeah. The thing is, they'd been teasing a new member was going to join the squad, and I won't say who. Because they're doing a Justice League versus Suicide Squad storyline in the comics. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's awesome on paper, but really, once you compare the squad to the Justice League, it's a little embarrassing, because who on the Suicide Squad has the real power to tangle with somebody on the Justice... Flash by himself could take out half of them.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg... But I won't say who, but the character they introduce as the replacement for that favorite who is no more is definitely someone who can tangle with the heavy hitters on the Justice League.
We might want to pick that up.
So yeah, go check out Suicide Squad. I'll be reviewing it actually for this week on my comic reviews. So,
and you go to the cons, and my gosh, is everything Suicide Squad? All the girls are dressed. I mean, there's really good ones too. And we go to a lot of cons, or at least some of us here. And we switch back and forth. We go to the cons all over the place, and almost weekly now, going to some convention or another. And it's amazing to see the cosplayers. The costumes are incredible. I think the hottest now is Deadpool and
Harley Quinn.
And the Harley Quinn costumes are really amazing. Even the ones in the full jumpsuit.
And Harley was kind of big before the movie anyway.
Yeah.
So now that the movie came out, it's like just...
If you look at, if you go to Sci-Clops.com and scroll through, we've got some amazing pictures of some of the people there. We put them up on the Facebook page too. But I've been impressed. I've been able to take some shots and say, wow, how long did you put into this costume? And they'll tell you. I sewed everything together, I cut all the things, I did this, I did that. It's just really nice to see. Just the makeup's incredible. I mean, just wow. I just came back from RocCon in Rochester, which was, oops, sorry, there's the phone going. The RocCon in Rochester is, I did not know it was going to be so big. I went up and
I kind of bummed I missed that one.
We'll get to more. And RocCon, it was thousands of people there. The number one, I think that one of the top guests, well, there were several top guests. One of them was Lou Ferrigno, who I did get a picture with, very nice guy. About 10 times as big as me.
You didn't make him angry, did you?
As big as me. What?
You didn't make him angry, did you?
Not this time. I did get away. The last. He didn't remember me either, because I had my disguise on.
Good.
And walked in and got another picture. So, the other guest was who?
It was David Fielding. For those of you who don't know his real name, he was Zordon on Power Rangers, and I luckily got an autographed picture by Zordon, so it's official, guys. I am now a Power Ranger.
You are a Power Ranger.
I have to decide my color and my costume and what animal I will be using as a Zord, but I'll let you know once I've nailed all this out.
And not only that, you gotta do those awesome Power Ranger
the giant the poses, and I gotta work on my stretching a little bit, because I don't think I can kick quite that high yet. But it's interesting, because Power Rangers are, with that movie coming out and all that, there's a new show on Nickelodeon, which is Saban owned again.
They're hot.
They're starting to come back.
Hot.
And they've got all this legacy stuff, because I think it was like the 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary of Power Rangers. And so they've got all like the original toys like getting re-released and stuff, and it's awesome if you're a longtime fan like me.
Yeah, and I apologize in advance, because we kind of wandered into this Power Rangers topic a little bit. I just covered a post. Not for that, but I just covered a post. I think it was Canada, and I don't have time right now to look. But I think it was Canada. They did like an all Power Rangers group or con or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it was huge.
There's two. There's Morphicon and RangerCon.
I think it was Morphicon, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that was something this.
I really would love to go to Morphicon one year, because it just sounds like a lot of fun.
And think of it, it's nothing but Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. And I really want to go, because Jason Narvi and oh gosh, what's his name? The guy who played Bulk. I always forget his real name. Mm-hmm. But they always do like a panel where it's just the two of them, and like, because they were the comic relief of Power Rangers. So they always do like a panel on like all the pratfalls and like pie shots and all this stuff, and it just looks like it's absolutely a scream to attend.
I love to see that, because it's amazing to see what the people do, again, with the cosplayers and the costumes and everything like that.
Oh yeah, some of those are just like fantastically done.
Just looking over Sci-Clops right now.
At the Collecticon I went to in Salt City, there was a guy as a Green Ranger who had like a flawless Green Ranger, perfect helmet, perfect chest armor, perfect everything. It was like, wow, that's awesome.
Well, if you go to Sci-Clops and you do a search up in the upper right-hand corner, hit that little magnifier, and search for Warhammer, and there's a Warhammer.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I got like 2 or 3 pictures from it, and you look at these costumes here, and this is Russia, and there was I think think about 1,000 people there. But the costumes, there's 100+ pictures there, and they're unbelievable. How long did it take them?
That's got to be all your free time.
I mean, I'm looking at these costumes, and
Horns,
the same thing
armor,
with Power Rangers,
spikes.
even the Harley Quinn. The young girl I just interviewed or took a picture of her, and she's just an amazing. I mean, she had this hammer with her, and she had the jumpsuit, and it was like she was the one with the red and black.
Yep.
Harley Quinn,
The classic animated Harley Quinn.
Just incredible, and just how much time. And she told me, she was like, I had to sew this, and I had to put that together, and just amazing to watch. And you see what these people do, and just to watch what the cosplayers are beginning to what they're achieving right now is incredible. It seems like it's going to a whole new level. I mean, they're really going beyond.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really nice to see. People are really into it, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And the cons are a lot of fun to watch. We'll probably... Oh, by the way, if you want to know where we're going to be, go to the site. At the top of the site, it says Sci-Clops tour dates. And that is a list of all the conventions we're going to be going to from this point. And we add a lot. Probably every few weeks we had another one. Actually, every couple of weeks we had another one. It might slow down a little bit in the deep winter, but definitely picking up. We're heading to what's the next one? One of the next big ones is I'm pretty sure we're going to Rhode Island for the big Comic-Con down there, and hopefully I'll muscle my way to the front to talk to Stan Lee. Everybody out of the way! But
important person coming.
Yeah,
through.
Right. So if you get it. A minute, let us know if you're going to be at any of those conventions. Just send us a note through the site or anything, because we'd love to meet you. We do have contests too. If you look at the top of the site, it says right there, if you leave us a note or anything, leave us a comment, leave us a note, send us an email, we'll put you right in the hat for we put a gift card out every week, and we are religious about the gift cards, and we have winners. And usually, simple gift card, $10 for Amazon or Redbubble or something. We change it around,
which is fantastic either way.
It's quick and dirty gift card, and we send it to you via email, so you don't have to sit around waiting for a mail order. It's instantaneous. If you win, we tell you. You tell us. Just let us know the address is right, and then we'll shoot you an email, and you got it, and you can spend it immediately.
Stuff.
Please support us too. Easy way to do it right now, because we haven't got the store up yet, is through the Amazon links. If you see anything you like in there, we're getting the Amazon little links up, just a hyperlink, and if you click on that and you do your shopping through the site to Amazon, it helps us. We get a little bit, a couple shekels, but it helps, and it keeps the podcast going, and it keeps the kids fed and the animals fed, and
we have a horse,
a bunch of horses now, and cows and everything else.
Dragon.
A dragon. It takes a lot of money.
Don't think the neighbors don't complain about that.
It's a lot of money to feed this dragon. Stupid dragon. What was it? Yosemite Sam with the stupid dragon and Bugs Bunny. He's riding the dragon around. And we're going to have merchandise coming up shortly. We do have stickers right now. We're going to be putting them up on the site. We got black and whites. Probably be about $1 or $2, and some really nice color stickers. Logos done by the Wallace brothers, Jamie Wallace. Or actually, by Jamie Wallace, really. His ad is up on the site too. You can see, if you want to go click on that, go over to the Wallace brothers and see the work he's done. He's just some fantastic logos for us. And I think that's about it for now. I'm trying to keep the first one short. Let us know if you like the podcast. If again, send comments, suggestions. I don't care. Whatever.
Cakes.
Cakes, pies, creams, anything. Donuts are always welcome. Anything else you want to cover before we go? Or
I think that pretty much covers us for this week.
I
think that was a nice kickoff.
No big movies coming up or anything?
Pretty much Strange in November is the next big one I'm excited for.
That looks like it's going to be hot. Cumberbatch, what hasn't he turned to gold,
Yeah, Sherlock, all that stuff.
So we'll see. Again, thank you very much. Please visit Sci-Clops.com. It's sci-clops.com. And we really would love to hear from you if you have any suggestions. And we'll keep trying to improve everything and give you the latest, greatest news in monsters, spaceships, and dragons.
Have fun, guys.
Sci-Clops is now out. See ya.